Welcome to day 4 of the 2024 World Wheelchair Rugby Paralympic Qualification Tournament. And that Paralympic qualification is almost in the grasp of the 4 semi-finalists who've made it through. There are 3 spots up for grabs, and those semi-finals are going to be contested between Australia and Brazil and Canada versus Germany. For New Zealand, that Paralympic qualification dream unfortunately is over. They lost their 3 group games, so a new tournament begins for them. The 4 teams that didn't make it through to the semi-finals, they're going to be taking part in classification matches. And that gets underway in a few minutes' time with New Zealand taking on Colombia.
We're watching a haka from the Wheel Blacks. We're here for the World Wheelchair Rugby Paralympic Qualifier. This, the first day of crossovers. These 2 teams, Colombia and New Zealand, have not had the weeks they would have liked. My name's Dave Mention. I'm here with Grant Sherman, and he will be joining me to talk about this game and talk about the teams and the players and all aspects of rugby.
Dave, it's great to be here. Thank you. Good to see the Wheel Blacks out there against Colombia. Interesting game. Let's see both teams really bottom of the crossovers. No chance of making the medal games. So the big question is, what are they going to get out of it? What you always want to take away something from a game. Doesn't matter what it is. What will they take away?
Yeah. All right. So we're going to go down for an interview with the coach from Colombia right now.
Jonathan, today a new tournament starts for you.
No. Nosotros terminamos el torneo cuando perdimos con Alemania. Veníamos por clasificar a París. Queríamos clasificar a París y pues sabíamos que si no ganábamos ese partido iba a ser muy difícil. Entonces, después de ese día comenzamos un nuevo ciclo buscando ahora clasificar en Estados Unidos. Creo que es en Atlanta el siguiente Paralimpiada. Entonces, tenemos que pensar ya en eso.
Well, actually, no. The tournament finished when they lost against Germany. Now the new cycle that they are starting is to focus in Atlanta in 4 years. But for the rest, yeah, that's what it is.
It's been difficult with a small squad that you brought here and some injuries as well. How are the players coping?
Ha sido difícil venir con un equipo pequeño y después de las lesiones que también ha tenido, ¿cómo está tomándole el equipo?
Ha sido muy difícil, realmente ha sido muy difícil, pero pues sabíamos que eso podía pasar. Cuando pudimos venir, tampoco es, o sea, no hay otro jugador que hubiese podido haber hecho mejor en Colombia, es que están los mejores. Pero obviamente venir menos gente, menos staff, eso dificulta el trabajo. Pero estamos aquí, estamos trabajando y estamos también disfrutando el torneo, porque es eso, de eso trata también el rugby, ¿no? De aprender mucho más, de crecer.
Well, they knew that was a risk to come with a small team. They expected injuries, of course, but it's nothing they could have changed. You have the best of the best anyway here, and and this is also a learning experience. That's what I needed, just to practice and just the strategy, look for it, and yeah, that's what happens sometimes in rugby, you know. But they still enjoying the tournament. They're still having fun, and they're still learning.
We're glad you're having fun. We're glad you're still learning. Thank you for coming. Jan, is it a case of one tournament ends, another one begins today?
Yeah, totally. I mean, our dream is broken, but we need to get back to it, and that's what Kiwis do, right? We come back, we have our eyes on the 5th place.
What is the morale like in the team, and how difficult was it to re-motivate them to start what is almost a new tournament?
I won't lie to you, everyone was pretty bummed down yesterday and today, but I feel like we have a chance to win this game. We have a solid plan in place, so everyone is looking towards a good win and some laughs at the end.
And Maya has been reclassified, so that's an advantage. Have you been able to change the lines and work on that?
Yeah, we were really hopeful that would happen. It took a little bit longer because we had to protest that decision, but we've been working on that lineup for a while now, so now it's their work.
Thanks very much. Good luck.
So we missed the tip-off here. New Zealand got it because it went out of bounds. Colombia touched it last, so they had the first attack. And it's Barton Coots with the first try.
Interesting there, the difference, having that 1 pointer on because Meyer's been reclassified as a 2. Huge difference down low.
We saw this line at the beginning of yesterday's game. But they didn't play her a lot because they didn't need to. It wasn't going to change the outcome of the game. They didn't really want to show their hand probably, and honestly, you don't want to risk injury of a player that's going to be key in this matchup if they want to have a shot at 5th.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting here to see what the New Zealand coaches do and how they approach this game, given they can't medal. So, you know, what are they going to get out of it? What's the plan here? How do they use these 2 internationals?
Lots of pressure there from the Colombian defense.
Smart play by Cody there. Knew he couldn't get it. Turned away.
Everson, great job spreading the court and being far enough away from that pile that a pass had time to get to him.
Fairly easy try, but they're still feeling each other out, so these next 2 minutes are going to be interesting.
Orozco had an injury yesterday, and he sat out a good portion of their final game in pool play. Probably precautionary more than anything. I think that if it had been a game they thought they could win, he would have played.
Interesting here with the low point inbound. Always a bit of a challenge and a bit of a risk, but with a guy like Hayden, with Barton Coots up high.
Yeah, that's a target. You can't really block a pass to him if somebody hits him in that hand.
Yeah, exactly right.
So far, trading tries. Both teams executing.
Critical to note here with the arrow, so if it stays the way it is, Colombia will start the next quarter. The Kiwis need to get a jump ball and get in their favour.
Orozco looking for a way to move the defense. Shot clock down to 22. He has Neme in the middle, gets it to him.
Quite good key defence there, made the Colombians really work hard.
Charlie Neme, number 7, their captain. It's a heck of a low pointer. It's a really good one. A great inbound, hard worker.
And I think that's critical. If you can get your players playing, you know, half a point more than their actual classification, it's an absolute game changer.
And that's what most teams will look for. You want somebody who plays above their classification.
Of course, that's true with all Paralympic sport.
Sure.
There is a band, a classification band, so you need to be at the top end of that to be, you know, truly competitive.
Orozco trapped. He's going to need to use a timeout if Vargas can't get free. Now with Barton Coots on him. So Colombia spends their first timeout.
So that was great pressure there. They didn't key up. They stayed in the front court, really putting pressure on that Colombian lineup. And, you know, a turnover, it's a timeout is really like a turnover, because once they've used them up, then the turnovers come. Great play, New Zealand.
Yeah, that's definitely a win if you can start making the team use their timeouts, especially if you can get them to use them early. They'll eventually turn into turnovers.
I'm a bit surprised, given the get over the half clock, that they haven't really put more pressure on them. Let's really put the acid on and make them panic a bit.
So Colombia setting up to attack the key of New Zealand. So all 4 players sitting pretty much outside, waiting to see what Colombia does. Orozco draws the defense to one side, then back, and Neme opens up that corner, but Barton Coots there to stop him. And now Orozco in trouble. 10 seconds, no dribble.
Look, that was fantastic defense. A lot of communication needed. Barton Coots raced around the outside, sealed off the end. They had no answer. Great defense.
No dribble is a tough call. It's an unforced error. Amai, number 7 for New Zealand with the try.
Well, with this classification change, with Amaya becoming a 2, this New Zealand team looks like a different team.
Orozco held up top. Vargas tried to get it over Barton Coots, but that's ill-advised. So near center court, we'll see an inbound. Columbia will get possession because it was off HBC's hands.
Terrific transition there. So Everson stopped him, Barton came back, and then Everson took off. Great transition, great communication.
Orozco through the middle. That play went much better than the last couple. Cameron Leslie.
You have to admire the ability of these trunk players to turn on a dime just with their body. It's incredible to watch.
It's unfair, frankly.
Well, there's a lot of discussion.
Kidding.
Yeah, no, but you're right. There's a lot of discussion. It's a big game changer.
It's a huge advantage to have that trunk. Neme, oh, he's got Vargas out. I'm surprised he didn't spread it further. He used his chair, though, to open up that corner for himself. Nice job.
And that's one of the big things in the sport. You want to spread the court. You don't want to be all clustered up. You know, Perisher thought you get too close to each other and just get each other's way.
Normally, I would have said for him to stay wide and have a pass option to Vargas. But with the reach of Barton Coots, I think he decided I don't want that to have to be an option. I'm going to go toward him and see if I can either create space for myself or allow Vargas to make that pick.
Yeah, you make yourself an island. You get there and you force a defender to go around you.
Orozco, a little trouble there at half court. Almost got met, but able to hang on and get across without getting the over and back. Cameron Leslie all over him, but Columbia gets it. 6-7 New Zealand leads. Leslie met by Neme. Amai turning, she's in trouble, loses the handle. Leslie's going to need to call timeout. Barton Coots does it for him. You only have 12 seconds to cross half, and you know, you don't want to, in a situation like that, if you don't have a timeout, you'll make a desperate pass, but there's no reason to when you've got all 4.
And I think that comes down to positioning on court. So, you know, when you receive the ball, you want to be up court and to one side and give the option so you can come across. A lot of that's communication, and a lot of it is forcing the ball to the weaker player in terms of their hand function, etc. So good teams will want the ball to go in a certain set of hands.
And we all have that kind of picked out for every team, right? This is the guy you want not to get the ball, and this one is the guy that you want that's going to have the best chance of turning it over.
And like a lot of sports, video analysis plays a huge part. You scout the teams, you analyze them, you work out their weaknesses, and you plan accordingly.
Especially with teams you don't see very often, right? For Columbia, we're on the other side of the world, which is partially why they only have 7 players here. Nice work to get that ball across half. And Amai takes it across in the corner.
Seemed to make real hard work of that.
Yeah, having her in this line makes a big difference.
She brings speed, and there's no substitution for speed.
Great pass and catch.
It was close, though.
It was close. You'll see a lot of those. The passes from Orozco tend to have some top spin on them. And out of bounds. Leslie just crossed the referee right there to see it.
And who was there? The one-pointer, you know, he is just everywhere.
He is. So that New Zealand's first turnover evens things out from the beginning. Columbia with the chance to tie it back up. Corner not there, but Neme in the middle. Punched out by Amai. She did a great job of keeping him off the play. And he's going to have to call timeout because he's going to get 10 in the key pretty quickly.
You know, that is terrific defense
Yeah, it was
Amai
great.
spotted it. She moved quickly, and that's the risk. The ball going to a low point hands. He's a terrific one-pointer, but still, she's got pace all over them. And, you know, there's advantage back to New Zealand. They've turned the ball over in terms of calling the timeout. They don't have the ball, but that's 2 timeouts gone now, 2 left for the Colombian side.
Yeah, and Neme he was in the right position. He had momentum toward the try line, and she got to the outside wheel to force him back onto the court before he was able to score.
And not
That's
too hard.
really heads-up play.
Not too hard that it was called a spin, but just enough to change his direction, and that caused the doubt. And when you look at the way they take the key, it looks like organised chaos, but trust me, people, there is hour after hour of training as to who needs to be where to attack the key.
Yeah, in fact, I was talking to Grant this morning, and he said there was a film session prior to this game. I was talking to him last night because they had a film session.
Nice.
And Rodriguez gets punched across the line. That'll be a penalty try? No.
No, nice turnover.
Oh, you're right, because Colombia was advancing. My bad.
But that's interesting. You know, you can do things off the ball. So they saw the Colombian player close to the try line, pushed them over, and got the turnover. That's terrific play, good vision, good foresight, good energy.
And that worked out to be a great play for New Zealand. Not only did they force a timeout, but they got a turnover and kept Colombia out of the try.
Yeah, so they literally bought a turnover by giving a turnover. They bought a timeout. There we go, Barton Coots. Very quick transition now. You'll see, Mark, Dave, they're right on the top of them there. Full court press.
And they have to. They know the ball needs to go to Orozco. Leslie playing his man.
Yeah. We talk about the teams with small rosters. Of course, back in the day, the Belgian team, only 4 players, now very, very successful with just 4 players. They were quite remarkable.
Is that Lars?
Ronnie Verstappen, I forget the name of the guys now, but they were a terrific team. And just literally just 4 players, no subs.
I love playing that way.
Yeah. Who wants to be subbed off, right?
Right, we come to play. Even when you're exhausted, you don't want to come off. Nice ball work.
I'd like to see those passes a bit more accurate. No reaching involved. This a nice clean pass.
Much better pass from Orozco that time, which had a little bit of backspin, so it floated, so the receiver was able to get under it.
And look, Neme saw it, went long. You got to cover those players. You can't let them take off.
Leslie up on one wheel. Vargas trying to stay with him. Now he's got 3 on him, so somebody's open for sure. It always amazes me how you can have 3 players on a ball handler, and then he passes it away and he ends up scoring the try because everyone left him.
Yeah, it's one of the great questions. How long do you stay on that double team or that triple team?
Or you really got to communicate to say who's staying and who's going. Because if everyone leaves, assuming somebody else will stay, that's where you get a guy wide open.
And people underestimate the value of communication. Sometimes by just talking, it puts the opposition off.
Oh, I use that to my advantage all the time. I'll call for somebody as if I'm going to throw it to them, so the defense will go to them, and it lets me through. It's great. It's a great weapon.
So a little low point inbound here, nice and high.
Nice catch by Amai.
I would just like to see her go more to the side of the court so she can run on rather than be in the middle.
Well, and her classification changing wasn't a surprise to New Zealand. They planned for it in case it happened. I'm guessing it was a protest that put her up for classification. So they practiced this line. It seems to be working well.
It makes a big difference from a 0.5 to a 1 at the bottom end. That pick bar, that additional speed, just an additional function. It really is a game changer.
Columbia working for that final try. 6 seconds left on the clock. Into the middle, Vargas stuck. And 4 in the key will be the call with 2.7 left. Columbia will get the ball on the sideline. So they'll have to make a pass here into a place where they can score within 2.7 seconds from the receiver touching that ball.
Or they have the arrow, so they have the first use of the possession in the second quarter and potentially a Kiwi in the bin. So they could maybe use that to their favour. What New Zealand don't want to do is give away a penalty try.
Orozco got it. Nice pass. Neme, 1 from the corner, putting that over the top into the middle.
That is an incredible pass.
And so that's how we'll finish the first. We'll take a 3-minute break here and we'll be back. Getting ready to start up the second quarter here in this Paralympic qualifying tournament. Columbia trails New Zealand by 1, but they do get the ball to start the second. Looks like we got Dan Buckingham on the floor now, the wily veteran.
Yeah, he's a seasoned old pro, is our Dan.
Columbia runs their play. Vargas and Orozco both got through. Ties it up.
And there we see the wheels. You got to feel for the mechanics. Some games, mechanics have no idea what's going on because they're so busy changing tyres and wheels. Big ups to the mechanics in the sport. Thank you.
Buckingham's been on the court for 12 seconds of play, and he's already getting changed.
Yeah, nothing's changed.
Those pickers, when they hit your rim, if the guy's got enough momentum, they'll pop those things all the time.
You just hear that psh, and you know.
Buckingham trying to get up court. He's running out of time, throws it. Got it there. Rodriguez wasn't able to stop it. Leslie comes in to finish the job.
In the end, an easy goal, but I think it's, we got someone on the ground just out of court. There we have. It's a one-pointer. Everson, you don't often see that, but maybe rode up on a wheel and over he came. And, you know, they did it against Germany in 2000, and that's not fun.
Not having those wings, you can easily roll up on somebody's wheel. And then, of course, if the offensive player decides to turn his chair a little bit to throw you over, you have to do it subtly, though. If it's intentional, they'll pull you out.
And with some of the key players, you'll often find opposition kind of go past them, circle like a shark, waiting for the mechanics to get out of the way so they can get unlock them. Kiwis here have forced them high.
Yeah, Columbia having trouble getting to that inbound. But that great pass again. Oh, Neme lost it. Orozco got rid of it and turned it over.
That's always the risk with a low point inbound. There's a higher probability, but you've got to be onto it.
Well, he got the ball in. It's just the pass from the high pointer never got to him.
Yeah, but then he becomes the receiver and he's under pressure. You want the ball in those weakest hands.
Another turnover. And a foul.
And a reach to boot, so that was a double one. You got a guy in the bin, and it's Neme the one-pointer, so you got the picker out of the way. Let's see how New Zealand use this. Got a new lineup for Brazil.
So Paula Martinez coming in for Uriel Rodriguez. She is a 2. With the plus 0.5 because she is a female player. So Columbia now playing with 8.5 points. And Columbia smart there not to do any reaching. Orozco gets away.
They're persisting with the low point inbound. That's interesting. Let's see how this plays out. They're double teaming up high too, so let's watch where it's going to go.
And gets it to the 2. And another turnover.
Perish the thought, but maybe Buckingham's made the difference here.
New Zealand's defense is doing a great job of keeping Orozco away from the ball. And that's the guy you're thinking about when you're game planning, right? Is keep the ball out of this guy's hands.
And we just lost it, so they forced Leslie over the side. He shouldn't have been down that low. But that's the difference, that 1 point picker working alongside a higher point player. Look how they're getting him now. They're really tying him and he's gone.
Colombian is going to have trouble inbounding again. Orozco finally gets away. And he got fouled.
Oh, as a coach, that's just a coach killer.
Yeah, you got the guy trapped in the corner, facing away from the play.
That is a big
no reason to reach there.
Big no-no, Buckingham, just saying.
Gonna make him buy you a beer for that one.
Sure.
So Columbia now attacking. Doing a much better job once the ball gets in and they can spread out. So Columbia makes it 15-13.
And of course they forced Buckingham to go to the inbound. So you don't really want a guy like Buckingham inbound, you want him receiving. So let's see if he does a give and go with the low point down low.
Well, let's see how the Colombians handle that give and go. I think that's something that they could work on, is how to try and stop that give and go from happening.
in the end, very well worked. Nice get out of jail.
So Martinez inbounding.
And you'll see the referees tap their shoulders. Equipment timeout. What a great job out of camera. They're keeping them up high.
Yeah, most of the players are way on the other side of the court during that play. Vargas close to that line, but able to hang on. Almost drops the pass as well. He's got a pick in front of him. He's looking for Orozco. Shot clock at 18. Orozco now just being patient, waiting for his opening, and takes it. 16-14 New Zealand leading. Leslie with the ball. There's a pick.
Using the 1 pointer very nicely, just a screen. Simple goal.
Severson did a great job too there of continuing to steal space away from Orozco.
And that's where the ball carrier, because it'll work really closely with the screener. Screener just goes, ball carrier follows them up and uses them as they see fit.
Well, as a ball handler, you got to sell that you're going to that other side so that you can help that low pointer gain that space.
And look, sometimes the ball carrier needs to slow down. You know, you don't need to be at a million miles all the time. Slow down, take your time, see what the options are. They're in a bit of trouble.
Leslie's stuck. He's going to have to call timeout. So both teams now have used 2 floor timeouts. You want to talk us through timeouts?
So they've got 4 timeouts that the team can take, which are really get out of jail timeouts, and then 2 coaches times out. And the coaches need to use these wisely, because often it'll be for specialty play. So let's say there's 4 seconds on the clock, they're in the corner, what lineup do they want to put on, how are they going to play it, because that one try could be critical. A lot of thought needs to go into these timeouts.
The other thing I think those coaches' timeouts are great for is shifting momentum. Turn the ball over 2 times really quickly, get your guys off the court and say, look, slow down, just give them a chance to breathe, get back and play their game. Because you know that those things, if 2 turnovers happen quickly, no matter how good you are at shedding that stuff, it's still in your head, right? You're still thinking about it. You need to let it go. The best players have the shortest memories of mistakes.
We call them the goldfish of sport.
Ten-second time.
I've got to say, I get nervous when Leslie winds up to crash through a gap. He's got a lot of ability to turn, etc., but he's not a big guy. He'll fall over.
Well, he doesn't have legs, so all of his weight is up high. So the chances that he's going to go over are a lot higher.
They need to put pressure here. Put that pressure on the low. Here we go, 1-on-1. Oh, Neme's got wheels, that boy.
He does.
That's pretty impressive.
Well, that's why you're going to see him on the floor for every minute, whether they have all 12 guys or 7.
Yep. Which is unusual because normally it's those key high pointers, but sometimes that low just makes the difference.
Well, as a high pointer without trunk, a good low pointer is all I got going for me.
Yep. And we're there for you, Dave. As a Formula One, we're there for you.
That's why I take it. If we made the kind of money that professional athletes made, I'd be buying watches and cars for my low pointers like crazy.
Love it. Yeah, like us low pointers say, we make your highs look good, but you are pretty good. New Zealand set up here with their key. They're going to let the Colombians come to them.
Neme has this corner, but Orozco's got the other.
It's so quick. You've almost got to anticipate where they're going to go. I'm a bit nervous about this low point inbound. Oh.
Nice play.
And look, there we see the advantage of having 3 sets of hands. Armai can cruise long. The ball can go to her long. There's no one on her. It's an easy try. Well done, guys.
Not as much pressure on Columbia. Better job getting some backspin there. Orozco's passes have been much crisper, much more catchable today.
I'd like to see the Kiwis press more. I think when they press, they've got a higher percentage of getting those turnovers.
It was certainly working for them when the Buckingham line was out there.
When teams attack the key, they'll have specific roles. So you'll see Leslie is the ball carrier there because Barton Coote's got his height. He can get in there. He can post up high.
And you just saw him muscle Martinez out of the way. She had a spot, and he just pushed her right to the middle of the key so that he had the whole corner to himself. And there's no way at where she sits in her chair that she can block a pass, even if a pass is bad to Barton Coote.
She's very, very low. You've got to watch that pushing, though, because
so
they can call that a push. You've got to take your hands off, so you've got to be smart about it, you know?
We've seen a couple of pushing calls this weekend. Vargas goes down. Leslie blocked it.
That's a reach.
If his body is not touching the chair, they're not going to call that a lean.
Well, if he fought, yeah, but I mean,
the chair was touching the chair, but the body was not. That's why you're not going to get a penalty for that.
I mean, I'm glad we don't have TMOs, etc. But every now and then, you'd love to see a replay of these things, wouldn't you?
It was a great replay. Like, you could see that he did probably touch the front of his chair as he went down, but the referee didn't see that. All she saw was he was on the floor.
And look, just on that, you know, referees referee very well. It's such a quick sport to make the decisions at speed. Will they get them wrong? Yes, but they'll get them wrong for both sides. So they even it out. And without the sport, without them, we don't have a sport.
If I ever play a perfect game, then I'll start thinking about whether a ref should have a perfect game. Actually, especially at this level, the referees are phenomenal. I think it's a really tough job. I don't think I could do it.
Heck no. I've spoken to a few referees as player and coach, and they were never too interested in my advice.
So Columbia now struggling again with the press. But Orozco got it. He's got Vargas wide open. Barton Coote did a nice job of forcing that pass to be a little bit behind Vargas. But he did a nice job.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Found the try. Got around the defense. A double on Leslie. Orozco reaching in, trying to get a hand on that ball, trying to get a jump. Leslie now has to call timeout. And New Zealand, with one remaining get out of jail free card.
You got to love it, though. Leslie's using those puppy dog eyes to the referee going, ref, how was that not a reach? Are you kidding me? But I don't think in all my years playing coaching, I'm not sure I've ever seen a ref change their mind. So good luck with that. But you've got to ask the question, why were they in that trouble? You know, never mind what the ref called. Why were they in that trouble? Why were they spreading the court, making it wide? It's about discipline. Come on, people.
Some credit to the defense there. They did a good job. Martinez came and helped on Leslie when the ball got to him.
Oh, terrific defense, absolutely. Keep an eye on that arrow. You're looking home. The arrow's pointing there towards the goal line for the Kiwis to score at. They want to maintain that because they'll start the second half with the arrow.
Yeah, and if that had ended up being a held ball, a jump, when Orozco was reaching in, that would have been to their advantage.
Absolutely.
Because even though New Zealand would have gotten the ball back, it would have meant halftime Columbia would have had the first one attempt. So. And
look, one of the perfect games is scoring last every quarter. Yep. It's an absolute killer in a close game.
First and last, there's 8 points there up for grabs. And you can manage that clock, and you can manage you can get a reach, get a held ball if you work for it. There are guys who are easier to get in on too.
Oh.
Right, like the ball's sitting on a platter in my lap. Everyone wants to reach for it because it's so easy to get to. Because I can't lean over it.
That previous hit that Barton Coote put on Neme, I would like, he hit him and bounced away. I'd like to see Hayden look at hitting and staying with them because they get flustered and use those big wingspan of his to get in and try and go for that tip ball or the reach.
Good defense there from Columbia. Leslie does a nice job, gets back, gets rid of the ball before he gets hit at half. What you're saying is true. Like I see a lot at the club level where somebody goes and they make a hit and they just bounce off instead of continuing through and making that next play, which is just staying with that player.
That was a great try by Leslie. Real cat and mouse. You probe, you probe, you probe. You wait for the gap, you wait for the picker. And now they set up a terrific defense here. Crossing over, crossing over. Oh, that's lovely work.
That worked out really well for Columbia. And I think that was the right call. They had to collapse. It was a low pointer pass into a 2 in a low point chair.
But that's not your average low point pass. I mean,
No.
2s would be happy with that kind of pass.
Roscoe.
Yeah, equipment, something's happened there, something's come off.
He wears a lot of tape on the arm with no hand.
Yep.
Because he has to push with the stump end.
It's quite funny. You give a few talks and people say to you, wow, it's a really dangerous sport, isn't it? And I look at them and I say, look at the wheelchair. How much worse can it get, really, you know?
Sorry. He was missing that hand before he started playing.
Yeah, just to be clear. It's not that brutal.
I think rugby is way more dangerous than like American football, because in American football, like wheelchair rugby, we have this suit of armor to protect us from those hits. So the hits keep getting bigger because all that armor protects you from it. But if you watch a hit like that in rugby, able-bodied rugby, both the person making the hit and taking the hit, they're going to feel it for days.
They pay for it later in life, though. So that was a great hit. Martinez tried to stop Leslie. He just smashed her over the baseline, took the goal. Thank you very much. The try, very much.
Nice pick.
A bit of a lazy hit behind the wheel.
Leslie throws himself down. Ooh. Looks like he might have hit his head on the wheel, but at least it wasn't the picker, because that would have been bad.
You know, to be honest, I think Cameron just had a look at the clock and thought it's been 2 halves, 2 quarters. I haven't fallen out yet. It's time for me to go for a ride. Yeah, exactly.
It was kind of an unnecessary hit, too.
Well,
right, there was nothing to be gained there. Maybe an intimidation factor. But
well, it's a momentum stopper because the game stopped, so maybe.
Yeah, if that was his goal.
But he runs the risk, because if it had been a contact call, then he'd be in the bin. So you do have to be very careful.
Well, we got 39 and a half seconds, so there's no shot clock. New Zealand will try and work that last try. Barton Coots gets out.
So they'll have a specific play here. There'll be someone tasked with taking the ball, someone tasked with going in the corners. They'll be getting calls from the bench, calling the clock down. They'll know at a certain time when they want to score.
Yeah, they'll start that attack now. Usually it's around 12, 15 to 12. Leslie goes out. What are they going to call that, a spin?
Turnover.
Gosh, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that play again.
Well, we've got a great...
oh, yeah, here we go. Perfect. Did they call that a vertical spin?
I don't think so. He just pushed him out well.
I don't know how you can hit some from behind and have them fall forward. That doesn't seem like a vertical spin to me.
You know,
I could be wrong.
Well, it's dangerous.
No,
it's dangerous.
If Columbia's got the ball, it's not a spin.
No, they're just straight turnover. But again, that's where you need court awareness. So as tough as the game is and as fast as it is, where is number 4? Where is he? Well, he's right behind you, and he's about to smack you over.
That's huge for Columbia, especially if they can convert this. Although they only have 6.5 seconds. Orozco's quick. Vargas needs to get his head up there. There's time to get to it. Neme can't get to the ball.
What are the odds, Dave? 0.9 of a second?
That was a great play.
What do you think? Kiwis can do it?
I'll tell you the truth. I've inbounded and scored in less. But it's you got to have a guy going hot to the line. They have to pick it up just before they cross, and you're not going to take that risk right here. There's too much going on the floor. You've got a 3-point lead going into half, and that's what New Zealand will do here. We're going to take a 10-minute break, and we'll be back with you for the second half. All right, we are back here for the second half of the first game today in the Paralympic qualifying tournament here in Wellington, New Zealand. New Zealand will start with the ball. And thank you. Colombia defending. New Zealand leading currently by 3.
And you can see how critical it was. Colombia scored last, but we've got the arrow, so we should score next, so it's goal for goal.
And he dropped the ball trying to inbound. The ref is not going to help him with that one. And they call timeout. That was a good call. It's unfortunate, you're a low pointer and it's harder to hang on to that ball, get it up over your head, and it falls backward.
Well, I would say that's going to cost Everson at least a Jim Beam. And I'm not sure the team are going to let him forget that in a long time.
No, somebody's going to get that on loop and put it up on Vine or something. I guess Vine doesn't exist anymore, but you know what I'm talking about.
We're just looking at the classic meme now.
Later asked me to tell you about my most embarrassing inbound.
We've all got one of those.
Barton Coots gets across half. Now he gets to the center. Held out. Colombia's defense so far being strong in that key.
They've still got plenty of time. There's 14 seconds on the clock, so plenty of time.
They certainly went out to set up a play. And nice job, Everson recovered there.
You need to study that because Everson went in, he set the corner, he came round, and that is classic corner play by a low pointer. Well, by any pointer, really. Great work, Everson. And now they've transitioned.
And forced Orozco to inbound because he's trapped on the baseline. Nice job by Martinez to get it out of her lap. Gets in a dribble before the line.
They did that quite easily, really. I think I'd like Barton Coots down there like that with the height to cut it out and then cut back in, but it's horses for courses, really. Looks like another equipment. With these equipments, the referee's got to be really vigilant because I have seen them used to get almost a de facto timeout and to stop things. So the referees will check and say, what is your problem? And if you don't have a problem, then you've got a problem, a referee problem.
Yeah, it'll be a technical.
And they'll keep watching. They'll just check that out and make sure. Kiwis will stand off a bit. They'd love to be double teaming real close.
There are players who are more notorious for those kind of calls.
But we don't name names on this show.
Not if we want to keep our jobs. Martin Coots making his way down. Emme does a good job of slowing down Leslie. He allows Orozco to get back. So Leslie gets back up top, tries to reset things, finds a hole in the middle and gets hit on the way out by Orozco trying to reach for that ball.
And you'll see the referee there gave the goal, so it's playing the advantage role.
He'd have scored without that foul, so it's an easy one to make. Emme back to Orozco. Sneaks through there, splits the difference. Gets the try. 27-24, New Zealand leads.
But again, with that defense, they forced the ball to the low point player. Barton Coots down low. It was a good play.
That nice pick and roll there. Such a simple play, but not executed enough by teams, especially at the club level.
So again, the Kiwis have decided to key up.
They've done a lot of that this week.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, is it a fitness issue? Sometimes I think the press, because it's making the other side, they've really only got 4 players. You want to wear them down. Mind you, we're playing with 4 players too.
There is something to be said for slowing the game down.
Oh, that's terrific defense there Barden Coots, those big long wings.
Well, playing key defense there worked for him, that's for sure.
Yeah, it made me look stupid, not for the first time.
A lot of times you'll see key players do a key defense because they need the score to be lower to give them a chance to be in the game.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the case here. I think there's plenty of speed on both sides. I think both teams have an opportunity here. I think this is going to continue to be a good game for quite a while.
Yeah, I was waiting for the call. You probably wouldn't have picked up on the microphones, but there's the pshh, and sure as heck, someone's tire's gone flat.
Well, they must have heard it because we heard it.
Yeah, exactly. So Vargas it was, but of course he was in the act of actually scoring the try. So he didn't want to call equipment timeout. He said, I can roll this thing back and take the try. Thank you.
Well, and you save that. If you get into trouble, it saves you from having a timeout too. You can call equipment.
Oh. Nice inbound by Everson, nice and high. It's coming over, hit the screen, that's lovely.
And Vargas left Barton Coots to help, but he ended up with him again.
And
Amaya.
That is classic spreading the court. Myers up high, take the ball, send it wide, no one there, safe try.
Vargas comes down the side.
That's
gets the pass.
Sweet pass from Ozako.
Barton Coots looking to push. Leslie comes back, sets that pick and roll again. Neme comes to try and meet him at the line. Gets it off.
Great awareness there where people were.
Oh, referee didn't see it.
Wow.
He's not going to call contact or a jump if she can't see. And it was a good no call. And clearly there were both hands on the ball, but you couldn't really see.
And of course we have two referees, so the idea is they position at either sides, so they should be able to see everything.
Well, but each referee has a different role. It's one's to watch this and one's to watch the other. And you'll hear them say, it's not my call or it's not her call. There's only two referees. There's been also conversation about we need three.
Oh God, no.
But the problem to me with that is it's just so costly and it's so hard to get enough referees as it is. And we need three for every game would be a lot.
Look, I had trouble with two referees. Three.
But I think so much would be missed with only one referee.
So this is an interesting setup here, Dave. We've got the low pointer, albeit with an incredible inbound. Everson's going to try and pin him in that corner, so it becomes 3-on-3, deny the inbound.
So Rodriguez going back, Christian Amaya in for Columbia. And he's open up top. If he can get to that ball, it's got had a lot of top spin.
So interesting on there, the question is, should Amaya have got that ball and turned it around? Because now the New Zealand's got inbound from the corner. Shouldn't say we, should I? And New Zealand's got inbound from the corner, so similar setup. So
you can say we, I won't hold it against you.
Same setup, low point inbound. We've got the height though with Barden Coots. So now he's going to wait.
Wait for his pick or just try and squeak on top of Orozco. And that pick came right around, held him up. Oh, missed opportunity there to put her to the side. Amaya is glad about that. And Orozco's able to stay off the line, but not able to stop Leslie from getting across.
You know, wheelchair rugby is the epitome of the equality. I mean, they smashed Maya as if she was a guy. They don't care, so we're big on that.
High point, low point, we don't. It's equal opportunity to offend.
Yeah. So Leslie needs to keep his hands in.
Barton Coots goes down. I think he hit Amaya just at the wrong angle.
That was a nice little slow motion play. Yeah, so as I was saying, you really want the players to keep their hands in. yeah, sure, go for the reach every now and then, but you really want to keep, because you've got hands on wheels, you're manoeuvrable, etc. Here we go. Oh,
looks like
that's friendly fire.
Yeah, Amai was in there with them. Didn't change anything. Colombia keeps the ball.
It does allow the New Zealanders to set up in key. There's a bit of conversation going on with the ref over there. So set up key and get ready for them. So maybe advantage New Zealand. Maybe.
We'll see how this key offense goes. Left corner is open. Both high pointers coming back to close it off. Barton Coots now underneath. Neme. Orozco looking for help. He's got 18 seconds. Amaya went in there, never got the ball, but also didn't cross the line, which worked out better than it could have. But New Zealand comes up with a try off the turnover. 33-26 with 3 minutes and 23 seconds remaining in the third.
Look, that comment, offensive key, we were talking about key defense, you're right. They've turned that, they've weaponized that, and that was a terrific, put the pressure on, great communication, turnover.
Colombia pretty good at attacking the key, but the key defense here by the Kiwis is really creating turnovers and just stifling.
I don't know if it's me, but the energy levels from the New Zealanders, I mean, the winning always helps, but they're really up. I mean, that's terrific pressure. There is nowhere for that ball to go.
Too late. Neme was ready for it earlier, heading toward the line, had to turn away, and by the time Orozco was able to relieve enough pressure to throw that, couldn't make it happen. Barton Coots, the beneficiary.
He's going to take his time. That's a pretty happy looking New Zealand bench down there. They got something to smile about and cheer about. And they worked hard. Good on them.
34-26.
So tell me, Dave, what would you do? You're up by, was it 8 points? You're going to bring on some new players now just to give them some court time and try it out? What are you going to do?
Yeah, there are some people on the New Zealand bench that I'd like to see get onto the floor for sure.
I'd love to see that.
Richardson is a great example.
She's got pace. She's got a whole lot of things. She lacks experience. Let's give her some experience.
But how do you get it? Right?
Yeah, you can't get it.
This game matters. Right? You can put her out there and see how it goes. And if you lose a couple, you pull them back out, right? I mean, she's just an example. There are a number of people there that I think
yeah, but lose more than a couple. Lose 4. And who says that they're going to? But I mean, because New Zealand needs to rebuild. And in order to rebuild, players that are sitting on the bench need to be on court. The guys are out there now, that lineup, get them off. Put a new lineup on. Let's see what they can do.
You see more of that in tournaments where teams expect to meet a second time, like U.S. and Canada when they go to their zonal. You're going to see a lot more lines run in their first matchup because they expect to meet each other again in the final, and that's the one that really matters. Neme punched across by Leslie, which means Colombia will turn the ball over.
So you've got the coach's number for New Zealand, so we can just ring them up and say, hey, how about putting some different lineups on?
Everson has it back.
That was a sweet little pass, though.
Amaya spreading it out. Sorry. Not enough to open up that corner, but Barton Coots not going to be moved by Rodriguez.
We're going to equip him there to Everson. And look, they talk about the 1%ers. You know, Amai needed to go in earlier and sooner. You've got to practice that. You need to look at this video and go, right, next time, I'm going to be a little bit sharper to go in there to give him that corner pick.
Yeah, just a little bit sooner would have given her the opportunity to gain more space and open up that corner enough that Leslie could have snuck behind. Orozco on the attack. Now working the other corner. Vargas in the middle there, keeping Barton Coots away from the play.
Yep. And look, you're not going to get a turnover every time. In a close game, if you get 2 or 3 turnovers, you've won the game. So it's really about just getting the ones you can get.
Neme blocks the pass. Rodriguez touches it. Orozco trying to corral it. Someone has a flat. And that equipment call may mean it won't get turned over.
Well,
I don't think Columbia ever had possession, did they?
I think well, the psh went before the equipment was called out. I think they may have had it. I think it's going to go.
I don't know, do you call that control if he dribbled it to himself, but he wasn't able to corral it?
Well, that's when you come into the realms of interpretation. And like I say, the referees, they've got no monitors. They've got to call it in a split second.
Columbia has the ball.
Yep, she's called it.
Orozco trying to sell that corner. Neme comes in and steals it and does a great job of pinning Leslie by the cone so that Orozco can go through the middle.
And of course, the feel I've got now is that they've a couple of turnovers. The bench is not going to need to leave them out. No, you don't. There's no action on that Kiwi bench. Come on, coaches. Let's get that next lineup out.
Amai gets the pass, but she's turned away. Orozco reaching in there, trying to keep her from getting it to Leslie. Now 3 players on her. She's going to get it out to Leslie now.
It is one of Amai's weaknesses, her ball skills, because of the wounds to her hands. But that was lovely play. It was controlled. She knew exactly what she was doing. Big ups.
And I don't know why you need a third defender in there from Columbia. You've already got her locked down, and you're already putting a lot of pressure on. And that turnover is big here with 32 seconds left. But I would have done some clock management there, if nothing else, just for good habits.
Well, and it's training. It's like making these things instinctive.
Orozco trying to create a meter violation there. The inbounder gets a meter, an arc meter in front of him that no player can go into, offensive or defensive. And you can punch a guy in there and create a foul and a man advantage.
And I've found that one of those particular rules that's got interpretation written all over it. Good defense, great defense. They're pushing them.
And that will still be Columbia's ball.
You've got to ask the question, why would you go for the ball like that? The pressure's on, the clock's counting.
Did you see Neme try to knock Barton Coots across the line?
It's not going to happen.
He moved. He moved it quite a bit. But
that's
ambitious.
That's the mouse and the elephant, if you always saw it. Is there any movement on the New Zealand bench? No, there's not. Come on, Dave. Ring them up. Get a new lineup on. Make it happen. Come on, fella.
So Columbia.
At least I'm not too engaged in this, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm neutral plus. Call me Switzerland.
4.5 seconds left. Vargas with the ball. Orozco trying to get inside, and he called timeout.
Really?
What? The coach is looking at him like,
no,
what?
It looks like there's something wrong.
I think that was a mistake.
He's called a timeout. I think that was a mistake.
The coach has his head in his hands.
That's a mistake. Every time coaches have heads in hands, it's not good. But, you know, Dave, you've been in lots of games. 2.3 on the clock. That is eminently doable.
Yeah.
But the problem with the Colombians at the moment, they don't have a big high player. They don't have a Barton Coots up high to be able to post in there and receive it.
Their other problem is they should have crashed the key and set up a play.
Yeah.
If you get a couple guys in there so that one's protected, then it's just about getting that pass over the top. And we know Neme can make that pass because we've seen him do it.
And look, this is just experience, etc. This is why, and I'm not sure if I've said it before, we need to change that New Zealand lineup so they can get this experience.
Well, you know, the pressure of the game, you're going to make mistakes. And that's one that Vargas isn't going to forget, that timeout for sure.
But we've got quarter time. Time for beer.
So, yeah, we're going to go off for another 2.5 minutes. We'll be right back. Here we are, fourth quarter of this Paralympic qualifying tournament match. These are what we call the crossovers. Both these teams have had a rough week, and winning this game means a lot to either of them. It looks like New Zealand has the most likely chance of doing so, and they will play the winner of the next game we have in front of us.
And we have Leslie in the bin. So he's been a naughty boy, so the penalty box is there. If you commit a foul in an offensive sense, then you're in the bin. When you're in defensive mode, on offense you lose the ball, on defense you're in the bin.
Unless it's technical, and then you can get into a situation where you have...
Oh, there's a whole range of those.
We have not seen a flagrant, I don't think, this week, which is good.
Well, you know, you say it's good, but it looks great, so long as it's not been happening to you, you know?
I guess that's one way to look at it.
Maya's showing a bit of wheels here. Don't take 4 on because you won't get past them.
She did good. That's what you're supposed to do. You bring the ball down as far as you can, but don't try and do it yourself. You got help coming.
So we got the old man, 33, Buckingham. He's on court. He brings a ton of experience. He doesn't have the pace, but he does have a lot of wisdom.
And he's got a deceptive reach. He's got really much longer arms than it looks by how far down he sits in that chair.
I think the Colombians are a bit broken here, and I think the Kiwis are really pouncing on this.
Well, and for the Colombians, it's kind of piling on. Like they had a rough time at the beginning with Germany and never recovered from it. They had an injury in a game. It's just not been a good week for them. And they have so much more potential. They beat Germany at Worlds. Based on the way New Zealand has played, they had a chance here and then just got a turnover that time. This could have been a great game, and it could have been the game to decide who went to play for, or it could have been a bronze medal game, theoretically. Yeah. So, it's really interesting.
So that's one of a Buckingham special. Rolls the ball in the back of his hand. I may be reminding him of that turnover where he gave the ball away, but maybe I won't.
I'm really excited about the Germany and Brazil situation.
And we would encourage people to watch the rest of the games because there are some very exciting matchups coming.
Yeah, and some great teams, some great rugby yet to come.
So we've got the loser of, or the bottom place team in Pool B, which is New Zealand, and the third place team in Pool A, which is Colombia. So the Kiwis will be pretty pleased that they're beating the third place player.
Orozco heaved it.
So this is where we come back to the beginning when those turnovers, timeouts were being called. Neither team has those timeout to call other than coaches' timeouts. He had nowhere to go. The Hail Mary pass, it's not going to work.
Not reliably, and that's what you need is reliable. Orozco gets in there and knocks it down. He's just as dangerous trying to pass over the top.
And, I'm sorry, that's just sloppy play. Come on, Leslie, you're better than that. But I see we've got Lynch on, so we changed one-pointers. This will be great experience for Lynch.
Nice work getting around there with the help of Amai's pick.
But that's simple rugby, but effective rugby.
Colombia now with a little more balanced offense.
We see the advantage of trunk there. I mean, Ozako, he just went literally just right round him, just used his trunk, swung round. It's just something that those trunk players have. Well, I know that pass.
That was close to 10 no touch.
Yeah, I know that wasn't designated for Leslie, but he cleaned up, and that's great work.
So slowing things down here is New Zealand by dropping into the key. Roscoe throwing his hips into that one, getting around Leslie.
And look, trunk player on trunk player, even with a trunk player, it's hard to stop another one just with those hip flick.
Yeah.
The old boy's winding up. Good pressure from the Colombians here.
Amaya Anamai trying to get that ball away from her. Buckingham takes it from behind.
And look, off camera, Lynch is being held up down there, so it's 3-on-3. So it's great work, clock's running down.
I think Mangua is being held by Lynch.
Yeah, oh.
Lynch is doing the holding.
I'm not sure about that.
Off the chair of Amai, Orozco scoops it up. Vargas was able to keep Leslie off to the side so he couldn't get into that play. That was,
yeah.
He's gotten quick.
And look, I think those two lows were just having a chat about where you're going for dinner tonight, what's a good restaurant. So the arm stretched out there. There's a coach's timeout. New Zealand has called it. So we've got a new lineup here. We've got the two, Hewitt, who's the player coach. We've got the new new .5, Ian Simpson. Great to see him on court with the two highs. So it's good to see them. Clearly you got through. Good to see the lineup comes out. I would really like to see Richardson out there with those wheels she's got, seeing what she can do.
She is a 3-5. I think we'll see her at some point.
Of course, within the growth of the sport, or the reason for it, wheelchair basketball is a dominant team sport. People with this level of disability weren't really able to play, so good old Canadians created it as originally murder ball, and it's grown to become the magnificent sport that it is today.
Thank you, Canada.
Yep. Wow. I don't know. I know it's a reach. Foul. And you're kind of wondering, was it worth it? I mean, he's been working his backside off, tired, there's a bit of laziness. They're going to try and force him to inbound. So Robbie needs to get up there. Hewitt, the two-pointer. So you've got 2.5 points on the 3-5. Force him to inbound. Here we go. Yep, he's caught inbound. So the whole idea of that is you now need to stop him being able to pass to anyone. It's not his natural habitat, and this requires communication and speed. That's not good.
Worked out for him.
Why not good was because Neme got away.
Oh, okay.
And was the
I
athlete.
forgot about the homer aspect.
Yeah.
Penalty try.
Something to note there. So when a player goes over, if a try is about to be scored, they'll call the try. But if the person with the ball's wheeling away and they go over, they'll put that person in the bin. That can be critical in some of those finer plays where you want someone in the bin. This is going to hurt.
Orozco picks it up. Another turnover for Columbia.
That was a sweet pass.
And a good job, adjusting to the ball.
And someone's having a little sleep. It's Cam. He's decided it's time to come out. As much as we joke about that, that will hurt over time. Those floors are hard.
Yes, they are.
And Cam gives everything. Leslie, he's wearing the number one singlet, my old singlet. He wears it way better than I ever wore it. But he certainly gives everything. He just never stops. He's the epitome of a professional Paralympic athlete. He's a terrific athlete. And he's a great father too.
You've enjoyed watching him play this week.
Yeah.
Barton Coots unable to beat Vargas. Leslie now double teamed. Trying to find an opportunity to squeak around. Neme and Vargas are on him.
This is great pressure.
No
Terrific
timeout.
pressure.
Barton Coots now, they're both trapped in the same pile. Leslie has to get out of there. Vargas kind of left him. Mangua, oh, that's Rodriguez in the corner. Leslie able to push through it. Feel like the defense of Colombia kind of backed off almost.
Well, they were close, and if we get a close-up of that try, but I'm very close to over and back. What we mean by that
out
is...
and in.
Out and in, old school. You must put the two wheels over. If one wheel goes over and comes back, that is no try.
It's actually a penalty.
Yeah. I think we're seeing here with these trunk players, the only time is the real lows. Someone's there. Now that was a push from behind, surely.
I didn't see a signal.
Nope. Well, the referee's having a little chat about it. They're going to compare notes.
Yep, now they're calling a spin.
Yep. So to reinforce, it is wheelchair rugby. Those chairs are fair game from the front and a 45. But once you start hitting behind the axle or at the back of the chair where it really can be dangerous, they're going to come down on that. We mentioned a flagrant foul before. If a team receives a flagrant, I think the penalty now is like 3 tries with 3 minutes. It's really harsh.
Yeah.
Because it can be really dangerous. You get smacked from behind like that, you're in head injury territory.
Well, and that's where they're going to call it, is when there is some risk of safety.
And they will sometimes call it too when it's a real mismatch. So Barton Coots against a low 0.5. If it's dangerous, even a front on hit, they may well call that. Because again, you've got to have that, you've got to be a bit of common sense around people getting injured.
That's where the charging foul comes in.
Yeah,
If you get a good head of steam and you're a big guy and you
Yep.
come and hit a low pointer who's exposed from the side and they just go flying sideways and whack their head on your picker or the floor, they have to call a penalty on that, because you go in there with some intent of really destroying that guy.
So there is a lot of traffic around here by okay, he's called the inbound, so he's gone in. Now it's about transition.
Yeah,
How
whole
quickly can they get away? Don't let them come down and receive. That's it, Leslie. Stop him. Push him back, push him back, push him back. Keep pushing him back. Stay in front of him.
Well, and they're not working together to get open. What a great throw.
And that mismatch, that 1 versus the 0.5. Gavin, he's a good 0.5, but he just doesn't have the wheels over a 1.
And Neme, just nonverbal communication there. That worked out really well for them.
Lafano's on. Solid 2. But a sloppy 2. What's that all about? A little bit of ping pong there. I think one of the things that's difficult, where the result is in the bag, people get a bit sloppy, and you just can't do that. You've got to maintain those standards the whole time. I know I'm sounding a bit mean here, but that's the way it works. This is at the elite level. Wow.
Yeah, we're talking about the top 8 teams in the world in Paris, theoretically.
Yes.
And these are certainly 2 of the top 10.
And they will absolutely pounce on any small mistake. I think there's a great future for Colombia. I'm excited to see what they're doing. They're developing players, and it's great to see more teams that are competitive across the globe. I think World Wheelchair Rugby did a terrific job in really fostering that.
Well, Colombia played a big part in the development in South America of 9 new programs, not all of which survived, but there are teams in Uruguay and Paraguay and Chile and Peru that are still thriving.
And that's fantastic, and we need more tournaments. I think that's one of the things that's disadvantaged New Zealand is the lack of competition at tournaments because we're just so far away.
Yeah.
Clock winding down.
It is a big advantage for countries that have big leagues like the United States and Germany and
well, in Europe, they're a couple of hours from any big tournament. So
that's a It's great. Like, I live in an area where I can drive to tournaments, 5-6 different tournaments within 5 hours.
Yep.
And, you know, the competition level isn't the same as we might be looking for, but it's an opportunity. So I can take a D2 squad and play against D2 competition and go, I can do that half a dozen times a season.
And I think we've seen our first jump ball called on Leslie. New Zealand had the arrow, so they'll retain it. But we're winding down now. It's 41 seconds to go. So
there's no beginning of a next quarter.
New Zealand's got to, but they want to finish this cleanly to get that momentum for their next game tomorrow.
The shot clock should reset. It's at 33 right now. Right? Doesn't that held ball should reset?
I don't think so. Not with that time going, not close enough. To be honest, some of these rules fell a bit over my head.
Well, there'll be no shot clock now with 34 seconds.
He's going to bunt. He was going to bunt this ball. He gave him the little eyes up. That is a beautiful pass. Come on, Nuffy. Let's hold them out. Let's get the turnover and score last. Pretend this is like a one-point game where they've got to stop them. And that's the thinking here. If New Zealand's got a coaching timeout, call that timeout and set the play up. Get practicing ready to do that.
Well, Columbia scored there quickly because they really have no other option. They got to score more. So they're hoping that they can rely on their defense. Another hand in there that looked like that could have been a held ball, but Leslie able to push out of it, so they're not going to call that.
So Lafano's pulled out. You know, 8 seconds. Should have been practicing to pull out, right out, get the guys back. And look, if they don't score too bad, but at least they've practiced with that minimum time left on the clock. 8 seconds. No reason why Columbia can't score here. They got firepower. Here we go.
Roscoe gets a pick, but not enough. He's going to throw it over the top, try and get it to Rodriguez. He does not. He leaves us with 0.9. So New Zealand should be content here just to inbound the ball and take the victory, which means they will be playing for 5th place tomorrow.
Yes.
And Columbia will play for 7th. And who they play depends on the next game. We've got another game in front of us. It'll be Switzerland and the Netherlands. That game will be in about an hour from now.
Look, New Zealand will be pleased. They've got a win under their belt. They played some good rugby against a good team. They'll be disappointed that they didn't bring this sort of game earlier in the tournament. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, didn't. Tomorrow's game, 5th, 6th, they'll want to finish 5th, but I keep banging on about it. They also need to put some work into that next 2 or 3 players coming through. It's a good one for New Zealand. I'm thrilled for them. They need to build on this. Great for the crowd. Great to be here.
So, Grant, let's play what if.
Yep.
Let's say that we get the Netherlands wins the next game and New Zealand gets a rematch. What do they need to do differently in that game in order to win it as to oppose having an outcome that they did early?
Well, I think they need to show up. I think the first game against Netherlands, for the first 2 quarters, I don't know where they were, but they weren't on court. So they need to go in firing right from the beginning. They need to identify the real dangerous players. I'm not sure their scouting was that good in terms of who was what. They said afterwards they were a bit unexpected. At this level, with the video available, you shouldn't be unexpected. So they need to have really done their homework on the Netherlands, and then they need to identify the target, who's going to do what, and figure out in those quarters what those lineups are going to do, and say, look, it's the last game of this tournament. Leave everything out on court and play smart. I would love to see them play Netherlands.
Yeah, well, now they got some game film against that team, right? So they can go back and watch that and see what they need to correct, where they were successful, where they failed.
And look specifically for this tournament, but the Europeans, there's so much great footage on YouTube now. You can watch teams and you can do some of that basic analysis and work it. The Kiwis are celebrating. They're a happy little bunch, and good on them too. The crowd's happy. It's good to see. Nothing like a win.
Their fans have been here for every game, and I'm sure they're very happy to give these fans a victory.
You know, these fans remind me of Warriors fans. They're just terrific, giving it all, lots of claps. Good stuff, guys. Enjoy today, celebrate the win, and come out firing tomorrow.
So tomorrow is when we will see the medal games, but at 12:30 you see on your screen Switzerland and the Netherlands will be playing.
That'll be a good game.
It should be a good game. And Canada, Germany. Germany has been playing great this week. Canada as well, but I think Germany might put up a big fight against Canada. Canada, one of the favorites, as well as Australia. All right, we're getting ready to go down here for an interview with a player from New Zealand. So we'll drop down to Drew and talk to the player.
Ian, great performance by the team today, particularly in the third quarter. Where was that 2 or 3 days ago?
Yeah, it was good. We finally got some good results today. Yeah, that was awesome.
How much of a difference does it make having Maya reclassified and being able to run different lines?
Yeah, it's awesome. It makes a big change. A bit more speed out there, so a bit more function. So it's awesome. Very looking forward to the future.
Great atmosphere with the crowd here today, and it was fun at the end, and they were cheering you throughout.
Yeah, the crowd's been great. Yeah, supports us a lot. Means a lot to us having the crowd here, having the home support.
Good luck for the final match.
Cool, thank you very much.
So there you have it. Colombia with the loss to New Zealand. New Zealand now will move forward and try and play for 5th tomorrow. We'll be back with you in an hour. Again, it'll be Switzerland and the Netherlands. Thanks for joining us.